I am 87 years old, and last Tuesday I cried for the first time in 58 years. Not a few tears. I'm talking about the kind of crying where you can't breathe, where your whole body shakes, where sounds come out of you that don't even sound human. And you know what the worst part was? It felt good. Better than anything I'd felt in half a century. Right now, you're doing what I did. You're holding it together. You're being strong. Someone asks how you're doing and you say, fine, even though you're dying inside. You think that's what adults do. You think feelings are for weak people, for children, for people who can't handle reality. I thought that too. For 58 years I thought that. And it almost killed me. Let me tell you who I used to be. I was a man's man. That's what people called me, tough, reliable. The guy who never complained, never broke down, never showed weakness. My father was a Marine. He taught me that emotions were a luxury we couldn't afford. Suck it up was his answer to everything. Scraped knee? Suck it up. Bad grade? Suck it up. Heartbreak? You guessed it. By the time I was 15, I'd learned the rules. Real men don't cry. Real men don't talk about feelings. Real men handle their problems quietly and move on. I got good at it. Really good. When my first girlfriend broke up with me at 17, I didn't cry. I went to the gym and lifted weights until my arms shook. When I didn't get into my first choice college, I didn't cry, I just worked harder. When my best friend died in a car accident when I was 23, I didn't cry at his funeral. I stood there stone-faced while everyone else fell apart. People came up to me after and said how strong I was, how brave. I took that as confirmation I was doing it right. The lie I believed was this: feelings make you weak. If you let yourself feel pain, sadness, fear, you'll fall apart and never recover. The only way to survive is to push it all down, lock it away, and keep moving forward. So that's what I did. For 58 years. I got married, had 3 kids, built a successful career as an engineer. I was the rock of my family. When there was a crisis, everyone looked to me because I never panicked. I never got emotional. I just solved problems. When my mother died, I organized the entire funeral without shedding a tear. I gave the eulogy in a steady voice. My sister sobbed through hers. My brother couldn't even finish his. But me? I was composed, professional, strong. When my middle son told me he was struggling with depression at 16, I told him to stop feeling sorry for himself. I told him life is hard for everyone, and he needed to toughen up. I actually said those words to my own child. When my wife tried to talk to me about our marriage, about how distant I'd become, I told her she was being dramatic. I told her I was working hard to provide for the family, and that should be enough. I didn't know I was dying inside. I thought I was fine. I thought the tightness in my chest was just stress. I thought the nights I couldn't sleep were just part of getting older. I thought the fact that I couldn't remember the last time I'd laughed, really laughed, was just because life gets more serious as you age. The trigger event happened 3 weeks ago. I was at the cardiologist. Routine checkup. They'd been monitoring my blood pressure for years. The doctor was looking at my chart, asking me the usual questions. Any chest pain? Any shortness of breath? Any significant stress in my life? I said no to everything. I always said no. Then she did something different. She put down her clipboard and looked at me. Really looked at me. She said, "Mr. Harrison, I've been your doctor for 12 years. In that time, I've asked you how you're feeling hundreds of times. You've never once told me the truth." I started to argue. She held up her hand. She said, "Your blood pressure is dangerously high. Your heart rate is irregular. You have stress markers in your blood work that I typically only see in people who've just survived major trauma. But every time I ask you what's wrong, you say you're fine." Then she opened her desk drawer and pulled out a small notebook, one of those cheap composition notebooks with the black and white cover. She said, "I want you to try something. I want you to go home and write down everything you're actually feeling. Not what you think you should feel, what you actually feel." I took the notebook because I didn't know what else to do. I had no intention of using it. But that night, I couldn't sleep. Again. I was lying in bed at 3 a.m. staring at the ceiling, and I saw that notebook on my nightstand. I don't know why I picked it up. Maybe I was just bored. Maybe some part of me knew I was running out of time. I opened it to the first page. The paper was that cheap line stuff, slightly yellow. I picked up a pen. I wrote, "How do I feel?" And then I just stared at that question. I'd been alive for 87 years, and I genuinely didn't know how to answer it. So I started with something simple. I wrote, "My back hurts." Then, "I'm tired." Then, "I miss my wife." She died 2 years ago. I'd been fine about it, handled all the arrangements, cleaned out her closet the next week, never broke down. I wrote, "I miss my son," the one I'd told to toughen up. He'd died 3 years ago, pills. I'd never connected my advice to his death until that moment, sitting there at 3 a.m. with a cheap notebook. My hand started shaking. I wrote, "I'm scared." That's when it started. Not the crying, not yet. Just this feeling in my chest, like something was cracking, like a dam that had been holding back an ocean for 6 decades was starting to split. I wrote faster. "I'm scared I wasted my whole life. I'm scared I don't know who I am. I'm scared I pushed everyone away. I'm scared my son died thinking I didn't love him. I'm scared my wife died thinking I didn't care. I'm scared I'm going to die alone because I never let anyone actually know me." The pen was tearing through the paper now. My handwriting got messier. I'm angry. I'm so angry. I'm angry at my father for teaching me this. I'm angry at myself for believing it. I'm angry that I can't remember the last time I told someone I love them. I'm angry that I don't know how. Then the dam broke. I'm talking about a sound that came out of me that I didn't recognize. Deep and guttural and wrong. Like my body was purging something that had been rotting inside me for 58 years. I cried for 2 hours. Sitting on the edge of my bed at 87 years old, holding a cheap composition notebook, making sounds I'd spent my whole life teaching myself not to make. And here's what nobody tells you about feelings. Here's what I didn't know. We think if we let ourselves feel the pain, it will destroy us. We think we have to hold it together, or we'll fall apart completely. We think being strong means not feeling. But actually, the opposite is true. Holding it in is what destroys you. Every feeling you push down doesn't go away. It just sits inside you, rotting, poisoning everything, turning into physical pain, into insomnia, into distance from everyone you love. Being strong doesn't mean not crying. Being strong means being brave enough to feel what you actually feel. I'm 87 years old. I have high blood pressure. I have an irregular heartbeat. I probably don't have many years left. And I spent 58 of them running from my own feelings like they were going to kill me. You know what's actually killing me? The running, the holding it in, the pretending. Since that night 3 weeks ago, I've filled that entire notebook. Page after page of things I've never let myself feel. Grief, fear, loneliness, regret. But also other things I'd forgotten existed. Joy, gratitude, love. I called my daughter last week. I told her I was sorry for being emotionally absent her whole life. I told her I loved her. My voice cracked when I said it. I would have been mortified by that 6 months ago. She cried. Then she said she'd been waiting her whole life to hear me say that. I went to my son's grave, the one I'd told to toughen up. I sat there in the grass and I talked to him. I told him I was wrong. I told him his feelings weren't weakness. I told him I was sorry I made him think they were. I cried there too. An old man crying in a cemetery. I didn't care who saw. Here's what I need you to understand. You think you're protecting yourself by not feeling. You think you're being practical, mature, strong. You think if you just keep pushing through, if you just stay focused on your responsibilities and your goals, the feelings will sort themselves out eventually. They won't. They'll just build up inside you until you can't sleep, until your body starts breaking down, until you look around one day and realize everyone in your life feels like a stranger because you never let them see the real you. I lost my wife without ever really knowing her, not because she didn't try to let me in, because I never let her see me, real me, scared me, sad me, human me. I lost my son because I taught him that feelings were shameful, that struggling meant you were weak. I might as well have handed him those pills myself. I lost 58 years of actually living because I was too afraid to feel. And for what? What did all that strength get me? I'm alone. I'm sick. I'm terrified. And I'm only just now at 87, learning how to be a human being. You're doing this right now. I know you are. You're holding something in. Some grief you haven't processed. Some fear you haven't admitted. Some anger you've pushed down. Some love you haven't expressed. You think you'll deal with it later. You think you'll feel it when you have time. You think you're being responsible by staying strong. You're not being strong. You're being scared. And I get it. Feeling is terrifying. When I finally let myself cry, I thought I was going to die. I thought the pain would swallow me whole. But you know what happened instead? I survived. The pain didn't kill me. It just moved through me and then it was gone, or at least smaller, more manageable. And on the other side of it, I could breathe again. I'm 87 years old. Most of my life is behind me. I can't get those 58 years back. I can't undo the damage I did to my relationships by being emotionally dead, but you still can. Whatever you're holding in right now, feel it. Today, not tomorrow. Not when you're stronger. Not when you have time. Now. Cry if you need to cry. Scream if you need to scream. Write it down in a cheap notebook at 3 a.m. if that's what it takes. Just stop pretending you're fine when you're not, because I'm sitting here at 87 with a composition notebook full of feelings I should have felt decades ago, and I'm one of the lucky ones. I still have time, even if it's not much. My son didn't get that chance. He died at 32 thinking his feelings made him broken. Don't die with everything still locked inside you. Don't spend your whole life running from the only thing that makes you human. I wasted 58 years being strong, and now I'm spending whatever time I have left learning how to feel. I just wish I'd started sooner.